Hello, how's it going? Welcome back. Might remember this podcast from such classics as we did about 5 episodes and never uploaded again. Um, yeah, it's been a minute. How you guys been? How you all doing? It's just me today. I'm just chilling here in my room on a lovely Sunday. T-shirt and short weather finally, which is great. But yeah, it's been a while. It's been oh god, like a couple of months or so. Um, for those who kind of don't know, around the world, Melbourne is back in lockdown. We had like an insane spike of COVID numbers, not as big as other places in the world, but sure as shit was scary. So we are currently still in lockdown. I thought we'd be out by now, excuse me, but we're not, to put it simple as that. It's a bit of a shit show, honestly. I can't go back to work until the end of October. So it's been tough. I'm not really going to sugarcoat it. It's been pretty tough. Like this year, I've hardly worked, just as much as many of other people that I know around the world. So yeah, it's been a bit of a fucked year to say the least. But I thought I would record a podcast because I kind of need something to keep my sanity going. And what better way to do that than talk to a camera by yourself in a room, in a house where there's no one else around? And yeah, this is perfectly normal, not insane at all. So yeah. But yeah, I hope everyone has been going well during this time. Um, First and foremost, I just want to say a big shout out to everyone that has been watching my recent YouTube content. As some of you might be knowing, the day oneers, as you might say. I've been uploading content to YouTube for a long time now. And a lot of the content over the years has mainly been revolving around camera stuff, filmmaking techniques, that kind of advice. But recently I switched it up. I switched it up to comedy, doing sketches. And yeah, holy shit, the reception was better than any of the other videos I've done. So thank you, really. I really feel like I've found my calling and I'm really excited to do more of those. So yeah, again, honestly, thank you. Shout out to everyone that's done it, that's checked it out, shared it, commented, all that shit. Yeah, so I guess the reason why I made the switch was because I wasn't really enjoying any of the like camera stuff that I was doing. I felt like everything was kind of forced, and I feel like when you're trying to speak to a greater audience or whatever, it's got to be like something you're passionate about. And don't get me wrong, like I love filmmaking, but it's also my fucking job. So it's kind of like daunting to be like, oh, okay, cool. So I'm just gonna like think of everything that I've learned over the years and trying to put out in a video and put out to the world. And that's great. Like, shout out to all of like the people out there doing camera review stuff. But it's just not what I like, really. It's just not me anymore. I just did it because I felt like I had to, you know what I mean? Just because it's like my whole life is filmmaking. But yeah, since doing the sketch stuff, I've been having a lot of fun. I've got heaps of other ideas that are coming up. I've got some like big production insane ideas that I would love to explore down the track once I have like budgets and whatnot. But at the moment, I've only got a couple hundred people checking it out, and that's pretty tight. So yeah, again, thank you for like the fifth time. It really does mean a lot. So yeah, one thing I did actually want to mention though is for those who are following along, have been following along with this podcast, my videos and whatever, have you guys noticed as creators and filmmakers, a lot of like the YouTube content is like a bit frat? Like it's frat-like. Is that the word I'm trying to say? Whatever. It's basically like you watch these videos and they're coming across like douchey as like some of these YouTube videos I watch, and again, I'm trying not to shit on people at the same time, but for a second, I'm going to shit on them. It's great if you want to be out there and spreading content to the world and like sharing advice, tips, whatever. But some of the execution is pretty terrible. Like these creators, these young creators, I get it. You're young, you're excited, but they're really coming across really douche-like. I'm trying to think of the best way to portray it, to give like, a bit more examples, I guess. So you know what I'm saying? Like when you're watching a video and they're just kind of, the way that they act is like jockey, like the jocks in high school. And I didn't really have like that many friends growing up, and I was bullied a fair bit, and it just reminds me of that level. And it's like as if those dudes just got a camera in their hands and they're like, sick. I'm really cool, and I also have a camera. And I don't know. I don't know where I'm kind of going with that, but just seeing that stuff just makes me cringe. And yeah, I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? I don't really know what I'm kind of going on about. This podcast, I'm kind of all over the place, even though I have notes written down, and that's what I keep looking down for on my notes to keep me on track. But yeah, that's why I kind of switched to the comedy side of things and making fun of the filmmaking industry, because yeah, it's kind of come like a high school type cliques, that you have in school. You got your camera nerds, and then you also have like your film nerds, and those like the influencer types where they just want to kind of put themselves on a pedestal before their work, which is something I've just like never really understood. Yeah, I feel like, Casey Neistat, when at his peak, he did really cool shit. He had really good storytelling, but you could tell that there was like this level of humbleness about it. But there was times where I was like, I can see that you're kind of putting on a bit of an act there, but I get it. And it wasn't in a critical way. It was like, I get why you're doing that, and good move for you. And I feel like people have been taking that and kind of encompassing their whole personality around that. So yeah, I don't know if you check that stuff out, but yeah, I see that stuff and it just kind of annoys the shit out of me. I'm not saying like we all should be nerds, but let's be honest, we're all fucking nerds here. So I've had plenty of ideas down the track for videos. Also, disclaimer before I go any further on this podcast, my cat will be screaming in the background. My wife and I have a Tonkinese cat, Tonkinese breed, and if you know anything about cats, they are very vocal. The problem is during isolation, he has become tenfold vocal. So he screams a lot, and we took him to the vet. He's all good. He's not dying. He is just screaming for no apparent reason. So my cat is not being tortured. It's just how he is. So anyways, back to ideas that I have for videos. I wrote out this whole script for like a reaction type video for that movie Cuties that's currently going around on Netflix. It's creating a big controversy. I wrote this whole video out of all these jokes in it, not about like, pedophilia and all that stuff, but other jokes around it, people trying to compare it to Skins, and I had like a whole bit there written about Skins, and then talking about like those crazy like soccer mum type people that really want their kids to excel. I had like all these bits written out. I wrote it late at night. I was super keen to do it, and then the next day I told Caitlin I was going to do it. I was just like, here's all the bits I have written out. And she's just like, yeah, but pedophiles, you know what I mean? Like it's a pretty touchy subject no matter what angle you look at it, and I completely agree. So I scrapped that, but that's what I've kind of been learning as I've been writing these videos is like, you could have good bits, but if it's about something touchy, it's gonna like cause a lot of shit. So you're best off just not kind of reaching those territories. So I'm kind of like reaching my limits, or like just seeing my limits and just being like, okay, cool. I've got a video idea for this. Will this piss a bunch of people off? And there will be videos down the track that I will do that will definitely piss people off down the track, and but not to a level of that's so touchy, I guess. But yeah, there are plenty of other ideas I have for videos down the track, and the best thing is about doing this, I've had like mates reach out and be like, yo, you should do a video about X, Y, and Z. So when I did my current affair reaction video, which by the way, if that becomes a series, I would actually love for that to become a series, because I have so many videos in the bank. And the funny thing is, Caitlin and I watched The Block, and before The Block is a current affair. So sometimes we switch over and it's got 10 minutes of the current affair. And there's always like the preview of what the next article is going to be like the next night of like what the big story is going to be. And holy shit, there is like just in like that 2-minute window that they're talking about, there is just like a gold mine of content in there. So so I've had like friends reach out and be like, yo, that video you did of current affair was sick. You should do more of those. Here is a current affair video that I found that you should react to. By the way, I've seen them all. But shout out to everyone that has been reaching out to me with the current affair videos. But yeah, so I want to do like more kind of content about that because as I've said in previous podcasts, I really love the YouTube space. I have been watching YouTubers since high school and I'm 28 years old. So do the math. And yeah, that's a long fucking time that I've been watching YouTube content. And it's just something that I've always wanted to do. You know, I'm saying a lot because I'm really trying to collect my thoughts here because, you know, I don't want to sound like a fucking idiot on a podcast, which will probably happen, let's be honest. We're all human here. So I grew up watching Equals 3. No, not Equals 3. Yeah, Equals 3, right? That's him. Oh my God. Ray William Johnson. Well, what was his thing? No, not his net worth. Fucking Google, just bringing up his net worth. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, I don't have time to sit here and just like fucking research what his thing is, but I'm pretty sure it was Equals 3. So his YouTube channel, if you remember it fucking like 14 years ago, whatever it was, he did a lot of reaction videos or viral videos of the week. And my friends and I tune in every week to his videos and love it. And we would come up with like our own bits of it, following up. It was kind of like a conversation. We felt like we were sitting in a room with him. So he would have a bit and be like, yo, here's the video, here's the joke. And then my mates and I would bounce other jokes off each other. So I've always been a fan of that. And yeah, so it's been years of consuming that content. And it took me so long to realize that that's the content that I want to do more of. And apologies if you just heard that bang through the microphone. It's a bit windy and I think my back door just slammed and I hope my cat's not outside. Anyways, so yeah. That's just the content I've been wanting to do more of. And obviously, as the years have evolved, going on, a bunch of creators have come and gone regarding content around that. Obviously, H3, big fan of those guys and what they do. Well, guys, and I mean Ethan and Healer. Guys is just like a general term. So big fans of what they did over the years, as well as, you know, Cody Co, Noel, and yeah. So that's kind of the content I want to do. Plus, you know, writing stuff as well, just coming up with like fun sketch ideas. And that's what all these other videos have come on. And honestly, goddamn, I've been doing this. How long have I been recording this podcast for? 15 minutes. I've been doing this for 15 minutes and I've already forgotten what I've been talking about. But the videos that I have done regarding like film students and, you know, like those sketch type ones where I'm talking about the industry, those have been fun because they've been easy to write about because those are ones I've experienced firsthand, but I don't want to be known as like that filmmaker comedian guy. But yeah, that's kind of it of where I'm at that I can kind of think of for now. I have like other things written, like sketch videos outside of that realm. I'm kind of like tossing up. I'm like, oh, should I do more of like, you know, the filmmaker comedy routine shit and then build an audience of that, then branch out or whatever. It's kind of hard when you're just like on your own. And like, honestly, I don't have really much of a fan base at all, but it's just kind of like trying to get that reception of people. It's hard. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it goes in the future. At the moment, I'm honestly just having a shitload of fun with it because there is nothing else I can do. Like my first job out of lockdown is booked for the 1st of November. The 1st of fucking November. By November, I'm ready to go on holiday. You know, I have pretty much checked out. It's crazy. Like every year comes to November. Every year it comes to November. No shit. But every year when it comes to November, I start unwinding for the year, wrap up my last few jobs, and basically from, I'd say, mid-December at the latest, it's normally like early December, until about early mid-January, I have like a month off, and it is so fucking good. It's blissful. But yeah, obviously this year's been a bit of a shitstorm. I think I've only filmed, oh God, like, I think I've only been on set like a dozen times this year. Um, Anyways, I'm gearing up to get back into work, but then a month later, I'm back on holiday. So I don't know. I've just been telling everyone this year's just a giant holiday. Shout out to JobKeeper payments that have been paying my rent for the meantime. Man, what an absolute fucking wild time we live in. But it's been good. Another thing that I have been doing religiously during this time is consuming a lot of TikTok. And man, it is weird. So, to preface this, I downloaded TikTok for a job. And you know what? I didn't sign any NDA, so fuck it. I'm going to talk about it. um, so I downloaded TikTok for a job interview for Bondi Sands. Now, I don't know if I'm getting in trouble for just out. Well, I can't get in trouble because I never signed any NDAs and I'm not like shit talking them. Anyways, so part of the job requirement, and before I continue, the job was fucking insane. It was basically being their video content dude. And the job actually got promoted during the interview process. Never heard of that before. But basically, the pay was really good. And I would have been their video content guy. Spoiler alert, didn't get the fucking job. Would have been their content guy, and you know they have offices in London and LA, and they're like, yo, we do Coachella every year. You would have gone, like, you know, you can go to Coachella and do all of our content. So it would have been like a really good job. But so just to put it in perspective, it was like 2 months worth of 2 months or 6 weeks, whatever. It was a long time of like different interviews and trial type things I was doing for the company, and ultimately I came second, and that kind of sucked. But you know, it's whatever. I kind of moved on, and I'm doing better things now, anyways. But man, I just said I wasn't gonna shit talk them, and there I was. And, well, I don't think that was kind of shit talking. Whatever. So, anyways, I had to download TikTok as one part of this requirement. And I had to, because they were like, you know, social media is getting so big and we're doing like Gen Z stuff. So, you know, you have to be on TikTok and understand what it is and create an ad for us for TikTok. And tell you what, it is so hard to advertise on that app. Like, that app, kids are so switched on now. They can sniff out bullshit from a mile away. Like, if you do anything that's like remotely an ad, kids will just skip past it. Unless you're like a giant influencer, then that's a completely different story, because it's like the influencer is having the product and it's like the marketing, whatever. So yeah, I had to download TikTok, had to make a TikTok. And I did like some fucking corny ass thing where I used this song of Here Comes Summer, and they had like this girl had like was wearing a hoodie and she got a text message from Summer. It's like, Here Comes Summer, and she grabbed the Bondi's hands, whatever. Corny as, and I knew during making it, I was like, this ad would flop so hard on TikTok. No one would care about this unless the girl was like a Kardashian or whatever. Anyways, downloaded TikTok, did the ad, didn't work, whatever, didn't get the job. TikTok was just on my phone afterwards, didn't really care about it, to be honest with you. And then obviously old mate Rona hit, and then we got locked in our houses. When was the first lockdown? March? Yeah, it was March when we first got locked down into our houses. And I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to start consuming TikToks. And it took a while for the algorithm to work. And the worst part is when you first download TikTok, and as a 28-year-old man, you get like a lot of TikTok influencers. So, you know, you have like basically 16-year-old TikToks coming up all the time. And it's just so bizarre. And you just have to kind of keep scrolling through it and getting past that shit to find the stuff that you want to find, or search for the things that you want to find to sort your algorithm. But there was like a short window there where I kind of questioned having the app, because I was like, oh, fuck, this just feels so weird just watching these kids like do dances and whatnot. But yeah, so my algorithm is now cats, dogs, and most importantly, an Italian Greyhound dog, and comedy sketches. Every now and then you get like a weird one coming up, and it's kind of like whatever. But in the last couple of months, I've been really focusing on TikTok because honestly, the reach is insane. And my first TikTok blew up last night, which is funny because I was talking to my friends yesterday, Arvo, being like, "Yo, I've been doing TikToks. I want to, grow my TikTok and funnel those viewers into my YouTube channel and whatever. Like, making like a short form sketch on TikTok and then saying, hey, you want to see more? Go to my YouTube channel, blah, blah, blah. It's like marketing 101. And then if I made a TikTok talking about the order of your drawers in your kitchen. So obviously your top drawer is like, knives and forks. Second one, utensils. Third one, Glad wraps. And then your last one is your tea towels and your oven mitts. Just some like basic ass shit that I know that it would spark a conversation. That's why I did it. Did a TikTok, upload it, didn't think anything of it. And let me tell you, I started a fucking war with boomer TikTok. I got my first ever duet. It's been duetted like a bunch of times now, all from boomers who are saying, no, you are wrong. This is the correct way to do it. And I just feel like my parents are just scolding me. I feel like a child again. I've gone the opposite, So I was saying before, I went from, when I first got the app, it was a bunch of kids and it felt weird. Now I have the opposite. Now I have parents, like legitimate people that could be my parents. They're in like their fucking 60s making TikToks, reacting to it and saying that I'm wrong. And I started like an all-out war. I tell you what, my stats have gone through the fucking roof, which has been great. And I'm not saying like, I've got a million views or whatever. It's only gotten like, I think it's like 2,000 views now. But put it into perspective, most of my TikToks only get like 100, 200 views. So in my eyes, I was like, holy shit, that blew up. And yeah, it's just funny, like just seeing that kind of unfold in front of me in real time. And it still is. Like this morning, I did it last night. Then I had to do a follow-up TikTok because I getting all these comments saying, oh, where do you keep all your junk drawer then? You don't have a junk drawer. And I was like, oh, fuck, okay. So then above our fridge, there's like a cupboard. And that's where all our shit stays. And I was just like, here's my junk drawer, whatever. And it's still going. I'm still getting comments. I'm still getting boomers following me. And it's just kind of overwhelming. It's just funny as fuck, honestly, but it's helping my TikTok grow. So now I have even more motivation to do more TikToks and just kind of push it. So yeah, I don't know. I just found that hilarious. Oh my God, I can't believe I started a war with boomer TikTok. That's hilarious. But yeah, I don't know. I'd love your thoughts about it. If you guys have been on the TikToks. And yeah, honestly, it's a really fucking cool app. And at this point, it's like a sponsorship now. I'm just saying how cool it is, but it is a really cool app. I'm having a lot of fun with it. So I definitely recommend everyone downloading it. All right, moving right along, I want to be talking about the name of this podcast, Mates Rates. And honestly, look at my notes now. Probably should have done this at the start, but whatever. So being the unorganized person that I am, and under the excitement that Josh and I had of having our really good friend Andrew as the first guest of the podcast, totally forgot to really dive into what Mates Rates actually is. And, typical me, getting too excited and not thinking about it and being like a newbie to podcast, still am, but, being a newbie and forgetting about it. So for all of us Australians, we kind of know what Mates Rates are. If you're in, I wouldn't even say creative field, I'd say any field. Basically, Mates Rates is when you get someone to do something for Mates Rates. So I'm a filmmaker, and say, for example, I want to do a video for a tattoo studio. And I've done this a lot in my career. I haven't really paid for many of tattoos in my life because I've just done swaps for video work. So I think that's a pretty fair trade, right? I don't know if I mentioned that in the first podcast, but whatever, we're here now. So yeah, that works out pretty well, right? I do a promo for the shop. I get some nice tats, and it's a really good transaction. Sometimes though, you get the shit end of the stick, and some of those, I don't really have an example, but the main examples that I could kind of think of, I've been very fortunate where it hasn't happened to me, or if it has, I've been like, okay, I can sniff out the bullshit. I'm not going to do that. You can have someone be like, oh, it's Johnny's birthday on the weekend. Do you mind bringing your camera and doing some filming? It's like, what am I gaining out of that? So I'm at a birthday. I'm not enjoying myself because I'm working. And like, oh, just some of the ways that people try and sell it. They're like, oh, yeah, just come party, but just, bring your camera and take some photos. It's like, fuck off. Excuse me, I'm just burping like a madman over here. So, yeah, sometimes you absolutely get the shit end of the stick. And it's funny how that kind of is... And yeah, that's basically like the origin of mates rates, Sometimes you get the good and sometimes you get the bad. So yeah, that's why I kind of call it the mates rates podcast, because it is a very common term in our industry, and you get a lot of people saying, oh, come on, mate, just do this for mates rates. Just help me out here, would ya? And yeah, I don't know, like you definitely get fucked over a few times, but most of the time I do it with my mates. And whether it be tattoo studios or, even in my filmmaking industry, I can just be like, yo, I don't have the best budget for you to come on as a DP or whatever, but I can cut something for you, or, I can help you on set, whatever, to help you out. And yeah, it's pretty cool that this industry is kind of built on those kind of foundations. It just makes things easier, really. So moving on regarding that, there is a website called clientsfromhell.net. Now, my incredible wife showed me this when we first started dating. And if you are in the creative field, you need to be on this website daily, because it is just a shell of great content coming through. And now that I'm reading it, I kind of feel bad because I really should have done more research of like the best of the best. But the other day I went on it and I was just like, oh my fucking God, this is perfect. Like all of these are just like, yep, hits. Like I understand all of these, and it's funny as. Now, a lot of the clients from hell are basically based around like the client thinking that they know more than you in the field, which is... It's just like, that is just like a frustrating thing to kind of deal it. So, God. So I'm looking at the website right now. I'm not being too distracting, I hope. But here is one called The Circle of Freelance Life. Client, we want this completed ASAP. The client sends multiple emails asking to complete work as fast as I can. I work long hours and pull overnighters to get the work done. I send an invoice and suddenly the constant communication stops. Weeks later, client, sorry, I can't pay you yet. I have other bills to pay first. And yes, that is one of the most common ones, is not getting paid from clients. And over the years, you'll have like a magnitude of shitty excuses from clients. The worst one I have, actually, which I kind of cut ties with this dude. He ran like a production house, and I'm not naming names here because I'm a good dude like that. But if you ever fucking double cross me again, I will definitely out you for that. Okay, that was a bit too intense. I keep in my head, I'm like, that's a good bit, and then I say it, and I'm like, oh, kind of comes across a bit aggressive. Anyways, I worked with this dude for months, and he was the worst of paying me. And this is the opposite, I guess. Like, he's a client, but at the same time, he is the one employing me for, he's the one contracting me for the work, because he's supposed to be on my side, is what I'm trying to say. And he would constantly come up with excuses, and one day it kind of snowballed because I called him out on his bullshit. I rang him up on the phone and I said, look, mate, what's going on with these invoices? You owe me, oh God, it was a dumb amount of money at the time. I think it was like, Well, not a dumb amount. Well, for me, it's a dumb amount of money. It was like $6,000 he owed me. I was like, yo, where the fuck is this money? Because this is like multiple invoices. And I'm like, you got to start paying these somehow because, at the time, it was just coming up to my wedding. Weddings are expensive as hell. I was like, I got a lot of things to pay for my wedding. And just also, I've done the work, so just pay me. So I kind of called him and was really stern about it. And we were like, where's this money at? And then he was like, look, I've told you before, you don't get paid until I get paid. And if you're a new person in the creative industry and you hear someone say those words, fucking run. Run for the hills. Do not work with these people, because how the industry should work is you should get paid a deposit. So say, for example, I'm a director, right? I make films for a living. Let's put in, for example, music videos. It's the easiest one I can think of. Client comes to me, and let's say, for example, they've got $5,000 for a music video budget. Low budget as hell, but $5,000 nevertheless. I'm like, okay, cool, we can make this work. I do the work, wrangle the team together, and I say, okay, cool. Well, I need a 50% deposit from you, the client, so I can pay for rental fees, my crew, pay people to get fed on set, all those type of things. And then, so I basically make $0 from the deposit, but I make up for it for the final payment. That seems fair, right? And that's the way that it should run in the industry. So when you hear someone say the words, you don't get paid till I get paid, you ain't going to get paid for a long ass time, because there's always like, especially with the company I was working for, the dude was like doing... So he was kind of like a director, but he was also like a social media dude. So he would run ads and whatnot. So basically what that meant was, you're not going to get paid till I get paid, but we have all these ads to run. So by the time all those ads finish, you'll get paid months later. And also invoicing terms should be 30 days. Look, at this point, it's education podcast. So welcome, take a seat. You know how you spent like, $50,000 at film school? Look, I'll cut you a deal, mates rates here. Pay me $500, and each podcast I will teach you something new about the film industry. Link in description, and yeah, just sling me $500. You won't ever need film school ever again. You'll just have me as as your guidance. So anyway, I'm getting way off track here. So I called this dude up. That happened. Called him out on his bullshit, and then what happened after that? How I stopped. Oh, there was something else. I got completely fucking sidetracked there. Warwick, what are you doing? Your life's a mess, mate. I called him out on it. And, another thing that really pissed me off about him was he would give no direction. He would give no brief. And I'd rock up to shoots blind. No idea what I was doing. I was like, I don't know if I'm doing an interview here. I'll bring my microphones just in case. I'll bring my lights and all that stuff. I'll bring everything just in case. And that is, as a director, you should definitely be giving people a brief. So at least people know what the fuck they're doing and what they're getting themselves into. Because the amount of shoots I did, and he's like, can you do this? I'm like, well, no, you didn't really give me ample time, and there's no budget for, extra lighting equipment or whatever, or a dolly, all those type of things. Anyway, so that is my experience of one person that I had a really bad run with. I ended up just cutting ties with him and just ignoring all of his messages, because fuck those kind of people, honestly. But, man, that is probably one of the biggest client from hell story that I have. The thing is, clientsfromhell.net is an amazing website. It's not really podcast friendly though, because a lot of these, well, not a lot, but some of these dialogues are really long. So yeah, it's not really podcast friendly. This is a safe space, as you can tell, for creatives to come, and you should not feel like you should hold back from these frustrations that you have with clients. Holy shit, some of these are really long. I don't get this. I went on this the other day and it was not long at all. I'm getting a phone call. I knew this was going to happen. Luckily, I have my MacBook muted. Shout out to Ed Rice, incredible music video director. He's just trying to call me because we're supposed to be hanging out. How long have I been talking for? Only 36 minutes? Only 36 minutes? Okay. I should probably wrap this up though. So let's find another one to go through and kind of break it down. This is kind of weird now I think about it. This whole bit, this made sense in my head, doing clients from hell. But this is kind of like trying to explain why a joke is funny. that's where I'm at with this. So yeah, I don't know how well this bit's gonna go. I don't know how well this podcast is gonna go. To be honest, I don't know how many people are gonna listen to it. It's just one dude just chatting shit. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm exhausted, man. Fucking COVID has just kind of wrecked my brain. But yeah, I'm trying to think of like something that happened on TikTok as well, because my TikTok's been really weird lately. I think the algorithm is kind of like, I'm not a tech dude, but when you like one thing that's kind of out of your realm of what your algorithm is, TikTok starts like promoting that more. Oh, I actually just made a TikTok earlier. I want to talk about that. Let's wrap up on that. Let's forget clients from hell for the meantime. Oh shit, actually no. Sorry. One just popped up and I need to talk about this one. Video magic, this one's called. Client, I want the video to be at least 10 minutes long. Me, you sent me 5 minutes of video. Client, just stretch it. Me, I'm going to need more footage. Client, use your video editing magic to make it longer. My God, I want to throw my fucking laptop out the window because of that. Yeah, that happens not too much, but obviously frame rates, most of the stuff is filmed at 25, and if you want to do slow motion, 50, whatever. Sometimes you get clients, and you always got to preface it with them, because that really determines how you're going to film the whole thing. They're like, do you want some of this in slow motion? And they say no. You're like, okay, cool. Just to be sure. And I have to say as clients now, I'm like, just to be sure, if you say no to this, I can't make this slow motion in post. And now, a downside of working with a company or a client that has like multiple people looking at it, one person will say yes, but then someone else who looks at it and wants to have their opinion will say, oh, actually, can we slow this down a bit? It's happened a couple of times, and I'm at the point where I just film everything in slow motion now. It just makes it easier. I don't have to stress about it. But yeah, I'm going to wrap this up with the TikTok I made today, and then I've got to shoot off. Ed, if you're listening to this, hella sorry, mate. I know we're supposed to meet up in 2 minutes, and I'm like a 20-minute walk from your house, but, I'll be there in a second. But this kind of ties into it. So, current restrictions in Melbourne means you can't be more than 5 kilometers from your house, and you can meet up with somebody else outside that's within your 5 kilometers, and you can hang out now. So it doesn't have to be just exercise. You can hang out for like 2 hours at a park or whatever. So Ed, one of my homies, lives 2 Ks away, and him and I have been going for walks every week. But I was like, yes, we can finally just sit down and chill out. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to get some food, coffee, and chill at the park. But one thing with these restrictions have been in place for like the last 2 months. The worst part is, on TikTok I've been seeing, is that kids are loving snitching on themselves. And I made a TikTok about this, but it's insane. These kids, actually not even kids, just people in general. I've seen like grown-ass fucking dudes do this, but they'll go to a place, they'll say that they're out of their 5K radius and basically doxing themselves because you can see everything around them. You can see the fucking buildings and like the parks. You know their exact location of them making that TikTok at that time. And they'll be like, oh yeah, fuck Dan Andrews, and they're hanging out with their mates with no masks on either, and just being like, oh yeah, screw the rules and everything, and then posting it on TikTok. And what I don't understand, like, you really shouldn't be breaking the rules during this lockdown. We are so close to being out of this and having like fuck all cases. We're at the home stretch, guys. Come on, let's be a team player. But if you're going to do something illegal, don't post it online. And I can't believe I have to say that as a PSA. I don't know if this is like a trend in 2020 where we're just snitching on ourselves if we're doing something illegal. But yeah, I don't really condone illegal activity. You know, I was young. At one point, I did a lot of dumb shit. Thankfully, social media wasn't around then. Actually, come to think of it, if I was young and had social media, I probably still wouldn't snitch on myself like that. But yeah, these kids are just snitching on themselves, just straight up posting where they are. Like, cops can just see that and just rock up to your house and fine you for it. I don't understand the mentality of it, but yeah, basically what I'm about to do with my friend is legal, and I will film it and put it online because I can, and that's legal. But don't snitch on yourself. And that's the lesson for today, kids. That's it. I'm going to wrap it up. Honestly, my brain's fucking fried, and I've only been talking for 40 minutes, but thank you so much for everyone that's been checking out my YouTube content with my comedy videos. Plenty more coming in the future, as well as this podcast. It's going to be solo for a bit because I can't really see anyone for the next few weeks. I'm in this bitch for 5 more weeks. So if you want to see more of one dude, one mic, please subscribe. Follow along on YouTube and iTunes and Spotify. Rate it if you liked it. Tell me what else you want to talk about on a podcast. Give me ideas, actually. Let's do that. Let's try and open up a dialogue. I'm holding a hard drive in my hand for no reason. Let's try and open a dialogue here. So give me an idea and shout it out to me, and we'll discuss it. I'll try to make it like a chat kind of thing. Whatever. Anyways, enjoy yourselves, guys. I'm out of here. I'm going to get some fucking food. See yous. Bye.